Hello and welcome to PMChamp. We help you to prepare for the PMP exam and get the PMP certification. Today I am going to share with you a few tips on how to prepare for the PMP exam and get your PMP certification. First of all, let me give you a quick introduction about the PMP exam. This could be one of the most challenging exams you have ever faced. That's because it has been quite some time since you last sat for an exam. The exam itself is 4 hours long. On top of it, there are 200 questions. Quite a lot, isn't it? Well, you may be thinking 200 questions in 4 hours, that should be a breeze. But this only gives you 80 seconds per question. 80 seconds. That's not even enough to read the entire question from the top to the end. So, you are up against a challenging exam. Unless you work out a good game plan, it is going to be tough. Today, let me share with you a few tips that will make it easier for you to get the certification. In this exam, there are 4 choices given. It is a multiple choice question and answer format. So at one time, you see a question and there are 4 choices. Now, the problem is, in your past exams, most such questions will have only one right answer and the other 3 are wrong. So it's very easy for you to eliminate the wrong answers even if you don't know the right one and still guess the correct answer. But in the PMP exam, most of the time, the 4 choices that are given are all correct. So how do you find out which one is the right answer? In fact, there's only one right answer. They never ask you which is the most correct answer, which is the only correct answer. They ask you to find out what is the best answer. This means really reading all the 4 choices and finding out what is the best thing for you to do. Okay, so in this case, presence of mind and your knowledge of project management as well as the tips that I'm going to share with you are all going to be handy for you. The last thing is that the exam requires you to memorize 10 over formulas. Scary, isn't it? It's been some time since you last started to memorize formulas. But don't worry, as long as we have a good game plan, we can work out a strategy and help you to pass the exam. Let me give you some other tips. Number 1, don't take the exam lightly. Make out a very strong study plan. Every day study for 2 to 3 hours or more if you can, but at least 2 hours at a minimum. What you can do is to start a deck of 4x6 index cards. For each knowledge area, there are 9 of them. For each process group, there are 5 of them. And for each of the 42 processes, make out a 4x6 index card and write down the key points as you read the PMP guide or any of the other PMP exam preparatory guides or books or podcasts, whatever method you use. Use an index card and write down the key points. This will be handy for you as and when you can find some time, you can go through the index cards and it will help you to prepare. I'm sure you have seen the PMP guide. It's quite thick and voluminous. Most people call it the best sleeping pill because you start to read it and within a couple of pages you can fall asleep. So best thing is to do the reading of the PMP guide in smaller chunks. Don't think of reading it overnight. Instead, read in small chapters or even 1 process or 2 processes at a time. Write down the key salient points. That's tip number 1. Some people also create a mind map. This is an excellent tool for you to put together your thoughts on a piece of paper and all the key highlights, key points of that process or that knowledge area are highlighted. As you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So this picture, this mind map can anytime help you to look at the complete picture about this process, what are the key points, and help you to find the right answer for these questions. The second tip is to try as many exam questions, mock test papers as possible. To be frank, just reading the book is not enough. And all your PMP experience, project management experience is also not enough. when you try the PMP mock exam questions, that's when the real learning happens. Because most of the time you're given a scenario and then you have to apply your skills in eliminating the wrong choices, and finding out the best solution, the best option. So what you should be doing is, after every process, after every knowledge area, try out as many exam questions as you can find. Now you can find a lot of mock questions on the web. I have put together a list of best resources where you can find. Some of these exam questions are free and some are paid. For a list of such resources, you can go to pmchamp.com/pmp-resource. The third tip for you is to read the last line of the question first. Now, most exam questions are pretty lengthy, 2, 3 or 4 paragraphs long. So if you start to read from the very beginning, they will paint a very large scenario. You are the project manager of so and so company. Your company manufactures Barbie dolls, and then some problem happened on your project. And after painting all this entire long scenario, at the end they will ask you a very simple question: what comes next in this process? And then that's when you will realize that this question is not really related to the entire story given to you at the back. So you can save a lot of time just by reading the last line of the question first, and then start to read from the beginning, from the top of the question. That way, at least you know what to look for in the exam question. Remember, you have only 80 seconds to complete this question. In fact, you should be finishing such questions earlier than 80 seconds so that you have time for review later on. The fourth tip for you is to look for keyword qualifiers that change the meaning of the entire question. For example, they might give you a question that will say, all of the following are correct except. Now most people miss out the except and they find the one correct answer, and that's where they make this mistake. So look for such qualifiers. There are many qualifiers. Some of them are what comes next, what comes first, or what is best, or what is worst, or what belongs, does not belong. There's a really long list. I have actually compiled a blog post only on this topic. You can go to pmchamp.com/keywords that change the meaning of PMP questions. Tip number 5. Attend a quality PMP training. You need 35 qualifying hours, the 35 contact hours. To collect these points, it is best to attend a PMP exam preparation bootcamp or a workshop. Most cities have a 4-day or a 5-day training program that will not only give you the PDUs but will also impart you practical training that will help you to pass the exam. So while choosing an institute or a training company, look for a one that has been approved by PMI. The agencies, the companies that are approved by PMI have a PMI registered education provider, or PMI REP. So look for this REP training providers, because the good thing is that the training material has been audited by PMI and the trainers are also verified by PMI. So at least there's one assurance that you're getting good quality training that will help you to pass the PMP exam. Do you want more tips? Well, if you need more tips for preparing for the PMP exam, head straight away to PMChamp.com. You will find there help, guidance, experts, all there helping, ready to share with you the best tips, best practices and mock exam questions that will help you to prepare. You can also subscribe to the PMChamp tips newsletter and get the latest tips sent to you in the email. Thank you, all the best, and see you next time.